Constantin, thank you so much for being here.
I'm very happy to be here.
For those watching, if you don't mind just introducing yourself, sharing a bit about your background and what you do today.
Sure. I was born and raised in Austria, studied medicine, psychology, philosophy, psychotherapy, pedagogy, and anthroposophy, and spent really 10 years of my life studying all kind of cultures, religions, philosophies, techniques. Have been in a lot of different traditions with different teachers, coaches, and therapists, because for me, it was always about learning why we're here. What is actually happening here? There are so many opinions and ideas and currents and directions. And I was like, okay, I need to know the truth. Like since I'm 14, like I was so fixed on it. Like I need to know what's real and what's fake. I grew up in a very wealthy environment. And I could already see, even though people around me, parents, friends, family, they were all wealthy and healthy and had good relationships, at least externally. And I could already feel that no one is actually happy. And they're all lying. And they're not even aware that they're lying. When I was 10, 11 years old, I realized when I talk to people, especially adults, that they're constantly lying.
How did you realize at 10, 11 years old that adults were lying?
It felt in my body. I felt they're not genuine. It's not real. They're making something up.
Like about what? Like you have
about everything.
Example?
Yeah, about their life, about their work, about the family, about how they like what they're doing, about who they are, where they're going. I was like, and it felt like, because children play, right? And children make things up all the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, they're doing this. Like everyone is faking. Everyone is making up his own story, his own reality is all the time, but not in a fun way. It was not like, oh, this is all a game. Cool, let's play. It was all super serious and super dangerous, and had to go to a private Catholic private school, like super elite school. It was the most expensive and the most elite school in my area. And it was also like a monastery, but in like a Christian monastery. So we were also taught by priests at some point. And it felt all so wrong. Not that I have anything against Christian religion. I actually love it. But the way many churches have used this, and I had to grow up with this, made me like, okay, that's going nowhere. Like if you live in that way, the only thing that can happen to you, you're going to end up suffering, get sick, and just you're going to waste your life.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. Because there's you do very interesting work with very high level entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs that are scaling millions of dollars, tens of hundreds of millions of dollars, sold businesses, but you don't help them necessarily directly on the marketing strategy. More so, you help them on the alignment of what they're doing, what they're thinking, how they're feeling. And this is a phenomenon now that I've met two different people that has happened to, right? So we were just talking about one of them who's in our group here in Medellin, and super successful guy. I mean, this guy's got multiple companies that are doing multiple 7-8 figures a year each. And just like, he has no problem starting like financially, right? And he's in good shape. He's healthy, has friends, relationships. But all of a sudden, in the past couple of months, he's been having these serious health issues. And it's, no one knows what it is. Like he's really sick and then he's fine. And then he's really sick and he's fine. It's like a couple days here, a couple days here. And yeah, he's been to dozens of specialists. He's flying all over from, Medellin, Bogota, New York. He's going to the States, different countries. Like all these doctors have no idea. They say there's nothing wrong with you. Some of them are saying, especially here in Colombia, because they're a little bit more untraditional, I guess you could say, or holistic. They're saying, yeah, you have a spiritual problem, right? And this has happened with another guy in our group as well, where he scaled companies and he got really sick, got out of bed. So what is actually happening? Because they're not like physically sick. They don't have a disease. They don't have a diagnosis. What is actually happening like with these two people, for example, that are the extreme cases, but probably a lot of us suffering not all the way or haven't reached that point yet?
I've personally worked with people who had very similar issues, who have been in very difficult physical, energetical situations and have been to a lot of doctors, specialists, therapists, and nothing happened and they couldn't heal it. It is mostly that there is a misunderstanding and a misalignment with who we are and how we are manifesting or expressing our true selves. And this topic is actually the same for everyone. It's just if you're very much out of alignment with your, call it purpose if you want, or your inner calling, your highest excitement, it doesn't matter what words we're using, then there is a gap between the bodies. Like we don't only have a physical body, especially in Indian culture, especially in the yoga philosophy, they have 5 bodies. We have the physical body, we have an energy body, we have an emotional body, we have a mental body, and we have a causal body. And most sicknesses start at the causal level.
Okay.
Which means it's not just the superficial thought patterns that we're having, it's really core beliefs. It's really on the level of identity. It's like who you think you are. Like it's your self-concept, it's your self-image, it's who you are identified with. Yes? And that's also based on culture, religion, upbringing, where you're coming from. So whatever you took in this life as a, call it blueprint or impact, whatever you got from environment, parents, genetics, right? Mm-hmm. And it's in the causal and then, of course, also in the mental body. This is going to determine how your energy, how your emotions, and how your physical body are going to shape, how they are going to form. And sickness is always, every circumstance that I've been in personally and with clients, is that there is somewhere along the line from the causal, which is the source, to the pure physical experience, there's some form of misalignment. Something happened there, and it's not always only on the causal level, but that's where you mostly find the most source. Yeah? So if someone has a real internal conflict of who they think they are, because there might be an expectation from society, from parents, like, hey, you're supposed to be that guy. You're supposed to be that person. Instead of who you are actually meant to be. And if this is, if there's a gap, yeah, and there's no space, of course, but if there's a gap in these beliefs, then this will start to affect your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your energy, and your behavior on the physical level, which it becomes sickness, right? Mm-hmm. Because you could compare it to electricity if you want, yeah? Like there is source electricity, and if it doesn't flow into the physical body in a healthy way, it gets scattered. It means almost that the cells, the nerves, the organs don't get nourished, don't get charged anymore with the proper electricity or alignment. Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not electricity. I'm just as an example. It's also electricity. It's also magnetism. It's different factors that come into play. But that's why mostly these people cannot be healed on a physical or energetic level. Yeah, it doesn't fix it because you're dealing with already with so much effects and not with the cause that can change. And mostly people like you have mentioned, they have a switch or split in their core identity. They don't really love who they are because who they are might be so different from how they are manifesting or appearing at the moment. The role, the life, the reality, the character, the personality, the mask that they have created in order to function and exist in their current life might be completely far off from what their true calling or their true desire actually is. So on a soul level, sounds funny, the soul prefers you to die, get rid of the body and get to a new life, that you can live your true life. Okay? Because the soul doesn't really care. For the soul, an incarnation, an embodiment is just one of millions that have already happened and will happen more if you believe in this stuff. But from my experience and awareness, that's what happens. So the soul is like, okay, if I'm guiding you to be that, and if you keep resisting that, and you keep pretending you need to be that person or that character, then you will have to suffer the consequences of this.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get it now, great, you will be healed in a couple of weeks, couple of months, and then we finally start living the life we're meant to live. Or you're just going to die and you get another chance and you will learn it later or not.
Okay. So for those who are listening to this, because I also used to be someone kind of like skeptical of all this, right?
Which I understand.
Like it sounds very woo-woo, but the truth is, like, there are people who are, they're very successful. I mean, in terms of like what you see externally and what most society deems as successful, business, very successful, flourishing businesses. But yet they're having these health problems and they're having these issues. Like a couple examples, right? So you work with some of the most successful guys in our group, and they attribute a lot of their success to working with you, right? Because you're helping them like alignment, come to truth, come to reality. We have so much to unpack kind of in just these first 5 minutes, I feel like. But you've also worked with me, so I can speak from personal experience where, we might have had something that we talked about, and then just literally like days later, something happens and is like manifests, and it was literally what we were just working on. And it's like these weird things that happen, but it's like, wow, that feels lighter, that feels better, and that you just the energy flows better. I know it's all woo woo, so anyone listening to this who's skeptical, doesn't believe in this stuff, I don't know what to tell you. You just have to try it yourself
if you want. Look, it doesn't make any sense trying to convince or sell anything to anyone.
Yeah.
You already know it from your own experience. I know it from my own experience with myself and thousands of clients. Mm-hmm. And the truth is, everyone knows everything already. Part of what we're doing here on planet Earth, especially in this human form, is forgetting. It's actually the most important thing you need to know what is actually happening here. Not just on a personal, but also on a collective level. The reason why your life is the way it is, and many lives, and the whole situation on this planet, is because there is so much unconsciousness or forgetting or ignorance, doesn't matter how you want to call it, about what is actually real, about what is actually true, that this mess that we are in here on this planet is actually possible. Like if we would all remember who we are, why we're here, our true potential, our infinite power and love and capacity and creativity, like this would be a paradise. This is true on a personal level and it's true on a collective level, right? So at the moment, I'm focusing more on personal lives because the unconsciousness of this planet is very high. It's very high. So I was much more optimistic many years ago, like, okay, we're just having changed the collective consciousness. Yeah, this might happen over the next few hundred years, possibly. But I was like, fuck it, I can't do this. I need to focus on individuals and help them remember. And this is literally all I'm doing. I'm not a special guy. I'm not super intelligent or much smarter than other people or have special whatevers. Like I just remembered. Because I realized I want to remember. I want to remember who I am, why I'm here, what is my true potential. And the more you go to the source, the more you realize we are all the same. We're uniquely different in our manifestation, expression, appearance, but in our nature, in our core, in our essence, we're not only the same, we're literally one. We're one consciousness expressing as many forms. Of course, the more you remember that, the more you remember that you are all of it and you have all this potential and you can tap into it. And if someone comes to me, I already see everything. I can see the potential. I see the confusion. I see the misalignment. And then I can help someone to see it too. And then suddenly things get clear and miraculously heal and whatever.
So tell me more about that. How do you help someone? How do you help someone see the truth? As you say, or see or remember, right? What are you actually doing to facilitate that with someone?
Like the most important thing is me being the truth. Because truth is not a concept. It's not a religion. It's not a new philosophy. It's not a new belief system. Truth is the direct knowing of reality.
Okay.
Yeah? It's the present moment, the infinite eternal now. Like once you are rooted and centered in that, like you are right now,
Yeah.
you feel it, right?
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Yeah. So now you are in truth, literally. And it's
Okay.
blissful and it's joyful and you start smiling and like, right?
Yeah.
So, and you can live not only in this, but as this. Like here, any border, any separation dissolves literally, that there's not even a Thomas or a Constantin which are in truth. There's only truth. Okay? And that's the main technique, if you want, or method that I'm using. So, everything else is just stuff around.
Okay. So just so I understand, what you're saying is truth is basically just being present. Is that accurate?
Yes, it is accurate, but someone who doesn't know that will make a different interpretation, because it's not just about being present. It's about being presence. It's very different.
Okay.
Because you can be just present. You're like, oh, I'm here, I'm drinking my water. And this is a very good practice, yeah, to be present. But that doesn't necessarily make you presence. Yeah? Because in being present, there is still a duality. There's you being present, right? You are present, you're hearing my voice, you're feeling the weight of your body in the chair, you're drinking water, there's some air coming, right? So you're being present. And that's a necessary step in order to even arrive at the level of awareness where there is only presence. Yeah? But this presence is not an empty nothingness. It's a very alive, creative, intelligent, loving beingness. And once you remember that, not conceptually, but experientially, suddenly the truth becomes conscious in your experience. So what is actually healing you is the truth, or love, if you want. So I'm not here to teach you or anyone really. I'm here to love and be present in presence, and the love and the presence are healing, are teaching, are correcting the thing. I'm doing nothing. I'm really only facilitating, if you want, the recorrecting, reorganizing, reharmonizing principle that is always active. But you or most people are just not aware of it. They're not present. They're not in presence. And that's why the further you go away from presence, the more you go into your own self-made prison, concept, images, ideologies, and you're disconnected from life. And then you get sick and lonely and old and everything which goes along with this.
So the first step is you have to be in truth, right?
Yes.
And then from there, basically, let's just say you're going to work with someone. You meet someone, and for whatever reason, they don't feel happy in the relationship. They're getting sick and everything else as well, but they can't figure out why. Then what?
So mostly they have the first conversation with me, and suddenly they're just happy. They're just talking to me and they're happy, and they don't even know why.
Okay.
Like, oh, it's a nice guy, he's very charismatic, it's nice. And I don't even explain anything. While we have our first conversation, I make them aware of how they feel, why they are talking to me. So like, oh, I feel lighter, I feel more inspired, I can see solutions instead of problems. I feel like, oh, I never thought about like this, I've never seen this opportunity, I've never seen or taken on this new perspective. So I'm opening up possibilities just through me being present. And then if someone is like, oh, that's really interesting, wow. Yeah, why is this? It's like, oh, because now we are entering into presence together, right? And now you become aware of all the infinite possibilities that always are present. It's not that I give them there, or they're always here. But if you are not here, then you're not aware of it. It's literally, imagine you have a backpack with you, and it's full of gold. And you live on the streets like a beggar. And if someone even asks you, like, hey, what is in your backpack? It's like, I don't know. It's just stuff I don't even know. I got it as a gift. I've never looked there. that's how most people live. You have a backpack which is full of gold, which means love, creativity, opportunities, abundance in every form, but you're not aware that you have it. So just because you have it doesn't make you abundant, because if you're not using it, if you're not aware of it, it doesn't serve you. Yeah. So all I'm doing is making you aware is you are already everything you want. You already have everything you're looking for. You're already whole and complete and perfect and beautiful and innocent as you are. You're just not aware of it. That's why you're looking for the solution in people, in money, in relationships, in the future. And it's never going to happen because it's here and nowhere else.
How can someone do this themselves? Say they're watching this and they...
In truth, all they would need to do, if you're listening right now, you could literally just call it prayer if you want. Because when I say prayer, and I love prayer, you don't pray to an external God or something outside of you that is stronger and more powerful that might come down from the heavens to help you. Prayer is you calling to your true being, which you can call God if you want. You call your true being, you call the true source, the true nature of your core essence. And you could really use your own words like, help me, please. I'm suffering, I'm confused, I feel separate and lonely. And I don't want this anymore. Help me to remember, help me to realize who I am. Help me to remember the truth. And I want to live the most amazing life. I want to live in alignment. You can literally start talking to yourself like this. Call it prayer, intention, affirmation, doesn't matter. You talk to yourself like this, and then I promise you, if you do this regularly, then your life will change. Maybe suddenly someone gives you a book, or you watch a movie, or you meet a coach or a therapist or a teacher that helps you, because your external reality is a reflection or a manifestation of your inner state. So if you already have the openness and the curiosity and the willingness, to change and to remember, then life will do everything it can to help you to do that.
So it's as simple as just asking.
It's as simple as that. You don't need anything else. But you have to be consistent with this. If you just, honestly, even if you ask once, it's better than not asking. Yeah. But ideally you keep asking until you're getting results, and results could be just your state is changing. You're getting influences from outside, people helping you. Suddenly you meet a new person that inspires you, or suddenly you read a book that's like, oh my God, this is changing my life, because we're living in a fractal universe, like a holographic universe. Like everything is not only connected, it's literally one thing, it's one organism. Separation is a concept, it's made up, it's not real. So not only is every solution already present, but also every opportunity, every relationship, any resource that you could ever need to be and become who you really want to be, or you're desired to be, or you're guided to be. So it's always already present. It's just not present in your reality because you're not aware of. But once you become aware of it inside of you, it will manifest outside of you. Because there is no outside of you.
It's all the same.
It's all the same.
Okay. So let's talk about how you got to where you are today. If that's okay. Age of 10, 11, you started realizing adults are lying and they're not happy, basically. From then until now, what have you done? Where have you gone? What have you... give me the... give me the...
another 2 hours.
The most impactful experiences and moments you've had that's led you to having these realizations.
I think the most important thing is that I was in such an internal conflict around 16, 17, because I was supposedly having everything that a child could ever want. Friends, family, money, opportunities. I was a beautiful girlfriend. I had everything as a human teenager you could wish for, and I was still so unhappy. I was so unfulfilled. I was so And I didn't know why. I just knew that something is off in me or in this world, or, and I just wanted to find it. And I started to experiment. I started to experiment with different drugs. I started to experiment with different meditations and practices, shamanistic, Buddhistic, Taoistic, and just tested what happens when I do these practices. And I just got different experiences. And I was like, oh, this is so interesting. There are literally states of consciousness that you can access that are not visible, or they're not obvious when you just live a normal life. They're all hidden. Yes? And I started to have more and more of these experiences, and not just good ones, especially with drugs. I also had really bad experiences.
What kind of drugs specifically, if you don't mind sharing?
No, it's fine. Like, I started with around 16, mostly with marijuana, but then also with some mushrooms, LSD, MDMA, like everything that was around at that time. But I did it for really consciousness research aspects. I did it to understand how my mind, how my consciousness is actually creating reality. And what's the difference between using a drug or not using a drug? And I realized that there's no difference.
What do you mean there's no difference?
We're constantly influenced by the way we think, the way we feel. Yeah? You can say in a drug, it's obviously a substance, right? A chemical. Yeah, but otherwise, you're influenced by hormones. You're influenced by stimulations through food. Yeah, and I was observing, like, I'm constantly impacting myself, the way I think, the way I feel, the way I act, about how I'm perceiving, how I'm responding, how I'm interacting with the world. Until I realized more and more, okay, I am responsible for all of it. I could use a drug and it didn't even have an effect on me, because I could realize, okay, I can choose that it has an effect on me or not. You get super drunk and suddenly it's over. You're out. And it's like, how is that possible? Right? But it's the same with, you're super angry and suddenly you step out and it's gone. Or you're super hungry and you step out and it's gone. Like, it's all, you are the source of it. You are the cause of it. But it took me decades, really. Yeah, I had my first experiences as a teenager, but I did many years of silent retreats. Yeah, not all in years, but months, every year, 10, 15 hours of meditation every day, not talking, just praying, meditating, breathing, and studying and observing my mind and how I am creating my experience moment by moment through the way I think, the way I feel, my beliefs, my subconscious patterns, and keep purifying them. And by the way, I'm still doing this. Yeah, I'm not fully enlightened, fully liberated, don't have any ego patterns. No, they're still active. They just get less and less and less, and they have less and less impact on me. But the more you do this, the more you see how tricky, call it the ego or call it habits, call it patterns, which are operating within you, which you think are you, but they're not you. They're self-imposed beliefs and structures and habits and mechanisms that you are fueling with your consciousness by believing in them, by wanting them, or by resisting them.
So you've been on multiple silent retreats.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me more about your experience going into those, like, say, the first time you went into.
The first time was with 19. I did my first 10-day Vipassana. It's a very, very famous 10 days silent retreat. Very intense, very painful.
Painful? Why is it painful?
Because you're supposed to sit on the floor, and we're not Indians or Asians. Many Asians, when they grow up, they sit on the floor all the time. That's just what they do. Just Westerners sit on the chair all the time. So in these retreats, you're supposed to sit on the floor. And even that, to these 15 hours a day, if you're not used to it, it gets extremely painful.
Okay.
Just the sitting on the floor.
Can you move?
Yeah, but there are certain times where you're really supposed to not to move.
Yeah.
To just be still, at least for an hour. And then you learn to observe. You learn to observe your feelings, your emotions, your sensations, your mind, how everything is interrelated and how it's working. But that's also where I had one of my first awakenings in this first 10-day silent retreats, where I just realized, like, I'm not this body. There is pain, there is things going on, there is thoughts, but what I consider I, is this pure, infinite, immortal consciousness that is not even related to that. It's just aware of it. It's witnessing it right now. Like, yeah, there are two bodies talking, but there is a consciousness which is aware of everything, but also everything is happening within that consciousness. Right? So, and you can see, because this consciousness is actually unchangeable. It's a constant. It's not changing. It's constantly present. It's beyond time.
You're speaking of the consciousness of the collective.
Yeah, but the collective consciousness and what I am is the same. There is only one consciousness, a singularity, if you want, which is self-aware. And this consciousness is also creating forms, bodies, expressions, which you suddenly become and you identify with as being you, which is part of this dream reality that we are experiencing right now. And there's nothing good or bad or right or wrong about it. It's just what happens. What we are doing right now. We're deciding, choosing to play human game here and play two male bodies having a conversation about consciousness.
So your first retreat, you had your first awakening.
I would say I had a few before, but they were not as clear as in these 10 days. It was really like on the third day and then on the seventh day again. It was so obvious. When I went out, my body was hurting. I felt even sick. Yeah, like really, I remember. And I went out in this dark, it was in Mexico, dark night. Stars everywhere. I reconnected with this infinity of being, of what I am, that I'm just having a flash of experience here in a human body having pain. Yeah. Because of course, if you put a human body who's not used to sit on the floor for 15 hours, there will be pain.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not the pain. I'm not the body. There's no problem.
So what changed for you after that first retreat?
After this, I stopped taking drugs. I stopped doing any of this. Like, I was like, okay, for the next, I would say 10 years, I was mostly only going to meditate. I mean, I was also studying in these 10 years. So I did all my academic career. But whenever I had free time, like we always had 3 months of holiday, right? June, July, August. That's where I always went to, mostly France, Italy, spending months in retreat with different masters, mostly Buddhist in the beginning. Later more Christian oriented, but always praying, meditating, just deepening the awareness and understanding of my first awakenings.
So you just kept going to these retreats, kept going deeper into.
Yes, because I realized in the beginning it was just a glimpse. I was like, I want to have this always. I don't want this to be an experience. Like, I don't want enlightenment to be an experience that happens every couple of months or years when I'm in a retreat. I wanted this to become my present state. I'm not looking for anything anymore. Like, I'm always aware of this.
So that first retreat was almost like, how can I experience this constantly?
And not only that, and also help me to use this understanding, awareness, to purify all the confusion I'm having about everything. About me, about life, about world, about sexuality, about money, about everything. Because I already knew it's all a lie. And I wanted to make my life a living example of that you can live differently. That when you live in truth, then your life will be different. You will be free. And most people, when I tell them how I live, they don't even believe me. Like, the amount of freedom, the amount of spontaneity and joy and connection. And many people here already experience that more and more. But if you look at the general collective consciousness, most people suffer. They're in slavery most of the time. And everybody thinks that that's just because they're mostly the cause of this is always projected into something. It's because of the culture. It's because of the upbringing, it's because of the environment, it's because of the religion they're born in, or of the politics, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
That might be true to a certain extent, but in my experience, it's all self-imposed. And I know this might trigger a lot of resistance if I say everyone is 100% self-responsible for everything they've ever experienced and will ever experience. But
I believe in that.
It's just how it is.
So all these decades you've been going to these retreats. Now today we find ourselves in Medellin, Colombia. So let's talk about that for a moment, because I think that's interesting. So you're from Austria. You spent most of your time in Europe. This seems like
I used to.
You used to, right?
Yes.
So how did you find Medellin, and why Medellin?
The truth is, I would say the last 15 years, I was already mostly traveling.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was still going to Europe, like I still do sometimes, but at that time I was mostly traveling between Canada, US, Mexico, sometimes Thailand, also India. And just 3 years ago, one of my good friends and clients invited me to come to Medellin. And I've never been to Colombia. And I was like, yeah, let's come here, see how it is. And literally after 2 weeks, I was so in love with this place. With the people, the culture, the language, the food, the environment, the atmosphere, the climate. I didn't want to leave, and I still feel I feel so much more home here than in any other place so far. Still,
wow,
drawn to live here.
It's amazing. And you've traveled and lived in all different countries,
yes.
cities. So you experienced a lot of the world, not all of it probably, but a lot of it.
Yes.
And so to say that Medellin is the place that you enjoy the most means something compared to someone who's only maybe been to one other country.
Don't get me wrong. There's amazingly beautiful places everywhere. I lived in Vancouver for some time. I love Vancouver. It's beautiful. Of course, there are many beautiful places in Europe. I lived in the US, in Arizona for a year. I loved it there. Mm-hmm. Mexico, I lived there for 2 years. Beautiful. And one of my favorite places on this planet is India. Mm. For me, it has the highest spiritual frequency that I've ever experienced anywhere. But I still don't want to live there. Like, I still love to go to India and go to an ashram temple and just meditate, because you go there and it's just gone, because it's like such a high vibration. But for living a human life, yeah, where you want to have connections, you want to have sexuality, you want to make money, you want to live a human, successful, abundant life. Mm-hmm. Colombia, Medellin, it's just the peak.
It ticks all the boxes.
All the boxes, and the best of all of boxes.
Yeah. And a lot of people's concern about Colombia is the safety. So how's that been for you?
I mean, I'm here since 3 years. I've never even experienced a moment of unsafety. Mm-hmm. Like, honestly, like, I've been to Michigan a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I'm
from. I mean, it's way more unsafe there. You know what I mean? Like, way more.
Were we talking Detroit or where?
Detroit and even around, you know, like,
yeah.
Or Portland or San Francisco. Like, I go there frequently. Like, I don't feel safe there. Mm. When I walk through the streets, I'm cautious. I don't have this here.
Neither do I. Never had experience. Also 3 years. Not a single moment.
Not a single moment, right?
Not a single moment where I felt unsafe. And there are things that happen everywhere, of course.
Of course, sure.
Right. So there's stories online, and things happen. But I think, again, you're creating your reality.
That's the point.
A lot of people come down here and have the wrong energy that they're projecting, and that energy then can attract something bad into their life.
And first of all, yeah, once you understand that, then you're beyond all this cautiousness anyway. Yeah, but even in a state in between, you have to stand. Like, Colombia is a wild jungle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Quite literally.
Literally. So you don't go into the jungle just barefoot and don't pay attention. There are poisonous snakes and animals and things that can kill you everywhere. Mm-hmm. In Colombia, you have to be present. You cannot be stupid, because it's very raw in a certain way, but also very alive. And that's what I love so much about it. It's very, if you are here, if you love and respect the people and the environment, they will love and respect you. If you think you are above them or you're better, you're going to be fucked, man. You're going to be killed or robbed or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, great advice for anyone who's coming down here.
Yes. Be humble. Be caring. Don't feel better, because you're not.
Yep.
Doesn't matter how much money you have.
And what about the community here, right? Because we run the Entrepreneurs House group here, right? And there's amazing community, expats,
Oh, yeah.
entrepreneurs. What is that experience like, meeting people, entrepreneurs?
I mean, Thomas, I'm in your group almost since the beginning, right? Yeah, it's one of my favorite groups here. It's high potential for growth, for connection. There are so many beautiful events and opportunities to connect and learn and grow on every level. Yeah. It's not just a multimillionaire community, it's also a very spiritual community, right?
Yeah. Thanks to you also helping enlighten and serve some of the people in the group.
Yeah, and I feel so much guided to do that. And there are also other groups, by the way. There are few groups in Medellin which are, you don't have to be a millionaire to find connections here. Just that
just the overall
the
community.
overall community, is beautiful here.
Yeah,
there are so many events, and even a little bit outside of Medellin, like Santa Elena, San Rafael. There's an amazing yoga ashram 3 hours from here. There's Guatapé, which is incredible. And in Santa Elena, you have all these plant ceremonies, and you have like sweat lodges, temazcals. Like you have more the traditional Colombian shamanic traditions. And then, of course, you have the Kogis in Sierra Nevada, in Palomino. And like, man, Colombia is incredible.
It's got a lot to
it. I feel right now, it's really where it's happened.
I would agree.
Yeah. This is like almost like people are drawn here from all over the world to raise level of consciousness and then spread out again and transform, Yeah. And I feel like I'm sitting like in the core of it and doing my work.
It's amazing. Yeah. There's been references like the Las Vegas of Latin America, like the new Silicon Valley of Latin America. Like it's a real hub for community, for expats, for everyone really. But obviously my world is a lot of entrepreneurs, so that's what I experience because that's what I do. And the entrepreneurs that are coming here are incredible. I mean, it's people that are coming from obviously places like New York, Miami, San Francisco, LA, like in the US and Canada. But also we got entrepreneurs that are obviously from Latin America, from Brazil, which is probably one of the biggest tech startups in all of Latin America, Mexico. There's people from Europe. I mean, it's just this really interesting mixture of entrepreneurs. Israel, right? There's some really incredible entrepreneurs from there here. I mean, it's just this. Definitely. Like I've never experienced something like this where there's all these people here who are doing things that are on a global scale, and they also are just obsessed about money, but they are here because they enjoy health, lifestyle, spirituality, right? So it's this very, I want to say perfect. No one's perfect, right? But it's this almost perfect like group of people coming here that are very whole.
I think you can use the word perfect here because it's not perfect in a sense of a closed loop. It's the perfect environment where everything comes together in order to create the abundance and growth that we are experiencing right now.
Yeah.
Like, and this is always like Caracas 20 years ago was like this. Caracas was the hub of the world, like in a certain, and now look at it, like, and Medellin 20 years ago, like you couldn't go here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right now, and I really hope much longer, this is, I would say it's one of the best places on this planet right now to grow and expand, connect, and live a good life.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, every day is beautiful weather. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible. So it's quite the place to be. So tell me, anyone who's listening to this that wants to connect with you, that wants to learn more about what you're doing, maybe they want to work with you, have a conversation, where can they find you? Where can they reach out? Do you have anything, any socials, any type of information online?
Yeah, I mean, of course, we can post my website. I have a LinkedIn. I'm not very active on social media, to be honest. I'm also not like advertising to get as many clients as possible. I love to show up and really attract the people that really want to work with me and they're ready to really change their life. Yeah. I'm also very picky with who I'm working with.
Of course.
So I have a waiting list also because I'm like, no, I don't, not waiting list just because of amount, but also like, hey, I feel maybe it's not the right time yet. Like there's I'm quite intense,
Yeah.
And sometimes people need a break.
Yeah. Most of it comes through referral, but as the content goes out there, I'm sure someone listening to this might resonate. They might be interested. So obviously, like we'll put the info, we'll put the links
and also
there.
With you, Thomas,
and,
right?
And and I was just gonna say also, you can contact me directly. You can comment or post or whatever, and we can facilitate an introduction.
I would love to serve whoever I can.
Amazing. Well, Constantin, it's It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks again for doing this with me. And just
you,
on
Thomas.
a personal note, you also have had a huge impact on my life, and I've seen you have huge impacts on a lot of people's lives. So thank you for the work that you're doing and what you're sharing, and everything that you're serving. Super appreciated, and we're all very grateful. So thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you for the invitation, and also thank you for your amazing group, where I have so much fun joining and helping and co-creating.
It's my
Beautiful.
pleasure. All right. Thank you so much.